Cynthia Varkevisser, the modern day mystic, as she helps you find your relationship's intuitive uniqueness, universal alignment, and a more meaningful connection. You're listening to the Modern Day Mystic Talks Relationships, hosted by Cynthia Varkevisser.
Hi, happy Friday. This is Cynthia Varkevisser, and we're talking relationships. I am talking with you directly from the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I have a very special guest that will be talking with us today. Her name is Dee Hampton, and I'm really looking forward to our talk together. Just so you know that as we're talking, we are going to be opening up the lines, so you're more than welcome to call in and ask questions about, what's it like to be in a relationship with someone who talks about relationships, or if you want to answer a question about your relationship. I'm happy to give you a read, and Dee Hampton also happens to be pretty intuitive, so she can give you her opinion as well. Now, the phone number to call in is 657-383-0608, and then you just press 1 if you want to talk, or you can just ask a question. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my very, very, very special person and partner, Dee Hampton. Hey, Dee.
Hey, hi, how are you doing? My name is Dee Hampton, and I am Cynthia's special friend.
So Dee and I talk a lot about the radio show, and she's pretty involved in my work because she's my my sounding board, and we talk about relationships a lot. So I thought it would be nice if we talked about our relationship. One, each other. This is also our second relationship or third relationship, and we have some scars, and thought we would talk about that too. So what do you think, Dash?
I think this morning when we were talking about relationships, we were talking about about how we intended to meet that next person, and in our case it was each other, and so I think we might be able to talk a little bit about that, as well as just how it works for us on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, sounds good. So first thing I want to talk to you, and to the listeners, is that you can ask Dee any questions about our relationship, no problem. And again, if you have any questions about your relationship, you can ask about that too. So my question to you is, before we actually found each other and actually thought about what was going on with you, and then do you remember when you make that intention to the universe about what you wanted your next relationship to be?
I'm sorry. One more time,
okay.
Please.
Okay. So, what was your last relationship like that made you intend this relationship? What was it that you intend? Do you remember the moment, what you were thinking, or anything like that?
Yeah. So my last relationship was ending, and I actually had thought that relationship was. I actually had thought that I had done everything possible to make that relationship work, in terms of I had done a lot of work as an adult, and I had, sort of let go of the sort of fantasy about, what it might look like if we lived together. That person and me had made plans to actually live. They were going to live on Vashon Island. I was going to live in California. And even though in my heart that was not the way I wanted it to be, I was willing to do that because I felt like, some things you just sort of have to let go. So that's just one example. But when that relationship ended, I feel like my true intentions about what I wanted in my next relationship came to the surface. And everything that I said, I feel like I already knew who that person was. I feel like it was I had intended it for a long time, and that the person was there.
Right. And were you surprised when you say there? That I was
really surprised.
We were really good friends for a long time.
Right. We were really good friends for a long time, and so when that other relationship ended, I was talking with one of my really, really good friends, and I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want. I want somebody who, when I wake up in the morning, they make me laugh. I want somebody who gets my sense of humor, who gets how I walk through the world, who I don't have to explain who I am, and I don't really have to bend too much one way or the other to make this thing happen. And what I said is, I want Cynthia Varkevisser. But that, they laughed. I was like, that's no joke. That's the kind of person I want. I want that person. And I don't know how I'm going to go about getting it, but everything's there. That's it.
Right.
And, yeah.
So here's the funny thing is that we were, no, seriously, is that we were friends for a super long time and not really on each other's radar. I mean, we were just pals because we were really good at embarrassing our kids. And that's how we became friends. And the weird part is that while you were going through your stuff, I was going through my own stuff, and I was thinking about how I finally wanted to have a relationship where I could talk about the hard conversations and actually about money and talking about the future and talking about growing old and those things. And those are the things that I was looking for in my relationship that wasn't happening. And you and I were such goofballs together that when we did have serious conversations, it was really touching and sweet. And then it was interesting how all of a sudden we shifted. I remember the day that I started looking at you with different eyes, and and it was really kind of interesting, especially since when I thought about you. I mean, we talked about your struggles and that you were going to school, and I mean, you were through some huge changes too, right?
Yeah, I was going through some huge changes, and I do remember was a little bummed out that the person, the qualities that I wanted in a relationship were with my friend versus like the universe, like going, I don't know, giving me some sort of direct path to go and make that thing happen. I was really, really surprised that you were the person that I was sort of searching for. And I was really kind of bummed out that I thought I had done my homework in the last relationship, and that no matter, it felt like right before our relationship manifest, I felt really kind of like I couldn't find my way. I felt like I had done everything I possibly could to align myself with what I thought the universe, or, sort of like, I hate all this kind of woo-woo stuff. It's so funny that I'm on your show, but like, like my soulmate, my twin, my twin flame, all that kind of stuff. I felt like I had tried to align myself in some way to make that happen. And I had been through multiple relationships where I felt like I gave a fair shot at that stuff, and it wasn't happening. So when, this other thing started to transform, I was really surprised.
Right. Okay.
And at the same time, it felt,
I was too, right? I think we're both surprised, but I don't know about you, but I was super happy too. So, what a great venture. So what I want to talk to you about is, I think that intuitively we already knew that we had some kind of special friendship, and there are a lot of times when we're ready for the next relationship, or we think we're looking for the next relationship, and we're using our intuition, but we're using fear. And so, can you think of any times where when you're in a relationship and you thought that you were using your intuition, and really you were making a really big boo-boo?
Yes. And I will say, and I'll use that last relationship because I feel like what I did is I compromised a lot of what I wanted because I thought I was being a grown-up, but really it was a question of sort of fear. Like I felt like I was never going to get that thing that I had wanted. Like when I was a young person, I'm clean and sober. I don't drink. I don't use drugs. But I remember first getting clean and sober, and I had a God box, and I wrote all the things down that I wanted, that I was wishing for in a relationship. And I thought I had them all pretty pegged down. I was much younger, so I was probably about 24, 25 years old at the time. What I wanted was somebody who was clean and sober, who had a job and had a car, and it was decent sex. So, that's not, and that's and somebody that sort of got who I was. I was vague then. And then with that last relationship, what has transpired since the time I was 24 to going to, like, at that point, significantly older, let's just say 20 plus years, is that I was willing not to live with the person that I loved. I was willing for them not to have some of the same values I had, which was, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends, and they're the kind of friends who come to my house. When I was living in San Francisco, they all had keys to my house, and they could come in at any time, and I could come home and find them sitting on my sofa or having eaten the last piece of meatloaf. And this person that I ended up with was not that person. It seems kind of petty, but the way they managed food is they would make food, and it would be very specific for each meal. It was very portioned, and there was no room for somebody to just stop by unexpectedly. And
right.
I didn't realize how important that was to me. And so I compromised in those kind of ways. And I think I did it out of fear because I felt like, that's what people do, when every molecule in my body was like, that is so wrong. That is, I grew up in a house where anybody could pop by, and there was whatever was on the table, we were going to divvy up with whoever was at the table.
Right. But don't you think it was also that you were already moving in that direction because you were thinking about buying a house at that time and wanted to make sure that you were close to your kid and that you were close to your community, which means you were moving from San Francisco to Oakland. So there was already some stuff going on right there. So what do you think? Do you think that there was already a calling there, you just weren't sure, or was it that you were trying to feel practical and something else just kind of stepped in?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm not sure if fear is the right word, but oftentimes I think that's kind of what it felt like, anxiety or something like that. So we had talked about buying a house. I never got the feeling we were on the same page, and my fear was that we weren't. But I kept going forward. Like on some level, actually, it was probably my intuition that was like, we are so not on the same page. But I'm going to go forward as if we are. And there were so many signs, and I like to think of stuff like in the past, or not just necessarily for a relationship, but just in general, there's often times when I get to the end of the road and I go, wow, I really ended up not where I want to be, that there were red flags along the way. And I think of it as my gut. And I, in many instances, I have not listened to those red flags or my gut going, oh, this is not the right thing, because I want it. And I'm afraid that if I turn around and walk away from whatever it is I think I want, that the next thing is not going to be as good, or I'm not going to ever get the thing I really want, which is, in this case, relationships, somebody who gets me and somebody who's going to love me. And so that's kind of what I think about that.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So now you're in this relationship, and I'm going to take third person. So you're in this relationship, and this person is a little bit crazy because here's what I want you to know out there is that I love doing readings, but you don't know who I am at home. So when we first moved in together, I didn't realize that I would actually follow Dee around the house with her or whatever, but I wouldn't leave her alone. And she actually had to close the bathroom door on me and ask me if I was following her. So, things like that. Were you surprised? Do you consider that a small thing? Do you consider that, like that's just, your person's kind of a weirdo? Or, did that help you decide, like, what's a deal breaker and what's not a deal breaker when you think about stuff
what's not a deal breaker?
Like that?
Well, okay, just to clarify, I wasn't using the bathroom. I was just combing my hair. But I did. I was surprised. I was surprised to turn around and all of a sudden feel like somebody was following me around. And so I'm not exactly sure what this question is about, but I think, like, part of getting to know somebody, part of living with somebody is sort of going, like, what is my space? What is your space? And intuitively, like, knowing, like, where the fudgy line is. And so, like, I do sometimes find it hard because our schedules are really different. I'm a person that could sleep until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe later sometimes. You're awake at the crack of dawn, And as soon as I open my eyes, you're there with like all the questions you've been waiting for me to open my eyes to, and I still need a few more minutes to like think about it. But I think that's not a deal breaker. Sometimes I think I'm not exactly sure, like, deal breaking for me. I can't speak for other people. Deal breaking for me is dishonest stuff where I feel like, and it's a funny thing because I sometimes have to check myself to decide whether whatever it is my anxiety is it from the past? Is it from the present?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something like in the future? So like, so I'm not super afraid, like, about you're waking me up in the morning with your eyes ready to, but sometimes like, hey, jealousy, like,
mm-hmm.
hey, let's be just for reals. I've been gay most of my life. You're not. And so like this slight fear that you might turn around and make a left and go to the past, I
mm-hmm.
have to sort of, I don't, like when those kind of things surge up, I go, what is this? And then I go, anxiety from the past, not necessarily that somebody has left me in that way, but like I have to really check myself. What is really happening in the moment? And for the most part, I have no red flags. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my basis is like, hey, where's the red flag? Has Cynthia ever done anything like this before? Has she been anything but trustworthy? And to be honest with you, that's how my barometer. You have not been dishonest in any way. And so I go, okay, that's some kind of past thing. And I'm not even sure if the past thing in this life, maybe it's some other past thing. It feels very scary in the moment. Mm-hmm. But when I do my kind of check, I can alleviate myself to some degree where I don't have to do any kind of crazy acting myself. Your craziness for me has nothing to do with like that kind of stuff. It has to do with the way you manage your money and walk through the world. That stuff makes me exceptionally anxious. It's not a deal breaker. I have to remember that I have my own way of walking through it, and your way doesn't have to be my way.
Right.
That's challenging.
So just to make so that everybody's in the loop, I am not the most conservative. I'm not even very conservative with my money. And this is no joke. Dee and I both love to gamble. That's one of the things that how we connected as friends. If she was having a tough go at school because she actually went to school, in your late 40s, you decided to become a nurse?
Yep.
So Dash was real, and I'm sorry, Dash is my nickname for Dee. You'll hear me for that in from time to time. But Dee she decided to go to school and become a nurse in her mid to late 40s. And when it got to be, when she needed a break, she would give me a call, and then we would do a really quick run up to Reno. And just so you know, it wasn't just the two of us. It would be with her other nursing friends, and I would have to listen to them do their homework while I was driving up. And that's the kind of relationship we had. But anyway, to go back to the money, is that I tend to gamble in a different way. I love going to Reno, but I gamble with my money in a different way about how to invest and and not really. I do it with my gut if I do it at all, and I do it a lot in my head, right, Dee?
Yeah, and so for me, I love to gamble, and as a matter of fact, we're up here in New Orleans, and I'm getting readings every which way, and every single person who's doing a reading on me, they have all this really good information about how my life is solid. And my last question is, should I go to Harris tonight? And so, but it's a weird thing because a lot of my friends would say I'm super crazy. I do really crazy stuff. It's one of the ways me and Cynthia have connected, just being pranksters. But in terms of my money, I like to make sure that my rent is paid. I like to make sure that I have a certain amount of money in the bank. And I like to make sure that, I know where my money's coming from. So it's not like she does intuitive readings. It's a sort of flowy kind of thing. She does real estate. Even that is not solid enough for me. So I have super anxiety about her money and in terms of like what the future looks like. And so that would be where the stress comes in our relationship to some degree. I don't think it's stressful for her, except when I start getting stressed out about how stressful it is for me that her money doesn't come in the way mine does. So
I don't know. I'm really happy about that, um, but the way that we talk about money is different. The way that we talk about our future is just a little bit different. But at the same time, right? It's a lot. I'm going to hang out for 1 second, Dash, and there is a caller that's been really patient that wants to talk about her mom who has passed and about becoming a mother. So I know that you're there. We're going to take a break in just a little bit, and then I will come to your question. So, Dash, do you mind hanging out while we go to break? And then do you want to stay
Nope.
with us?
I'm good either way.
Okay, great. So we will catch you after the break. We're going to get ready to go to break. Please feel free to call at 657-383-0608. If you want to ask a question, please press 1 if you want to get a quick read. And know that if you're not feeling like you're wanting to talk on the phone right now, that you can chat. You do a reading there, or that you can come find me through CynthiaVarkevisser.com, and we can set up a one-to-one or have you have classes or anything like that. All right, so catch you in a few minutes.
Experience the magic of Angel Heart for You, nestled in the heart of beautiful downtown Benicia, California. Embrace the aroma of scented candles, essential oils, incense, and aromatherapy products as you wander the aisles of inspirational and metaphysical books and gifts. Enjoy the positive energy vibrating in this historical site where the well-known author Jack London was once a frequent visitor. If you're in need of a smile or a hug, Angel Heart for You is the place to visit. Do you have an intention or a wish to manifest? Experience the magic of our intention tree. Email us at angelheartforyourradiochannel@gmail.com and be included in our sacred intention tree ritual. Just write us your intention and we'll offer it up in fire along with those left in our store. Then offer them again to the beach and water in Benicia. May angels be with you in all your comings and goings. Love, Angel Heart for You. Join us for the experience of a lifetime. Sacred Connections Sedona Retreats invites you to a powerful 3-day retreat in the beauty of the high desert. People travel from all over the world just to experience the healing vortexes in Sedona, Arizona. Through a series of mindful meditations and spiritual activities amongst the Red Rocks, let the land call you home to your higher self and source. Surrender, transform, Sedona. Sacred Connections Sedona Retreat is hosted by Angel Heart for You radio hosts Tana Newberry and Linda Grindell. Learn more at www.sacredconnectionssedona.com.
Hi, you're back with Cynthia Varkevisser, your modern-day mystic, and we are here with Dee Hampton talking about relationships. She's going to stay on the line and cue in her, whatever she may have. But if you're waiting and you would like to call, please call in at 657-383-0608 and press 1, and I am happy to take your call. Right now we have Hadassah from New Jersey. Yes?
Yes, Hadassah, New Jersey.
Hadassah, I am so sorry.
No,
nice
don't
to meet
be
you,
sorry.
Hadassah. How are you?
Some people have a problem with that name, and I guess it's the way that it's spelled. Don't take it personal.
Oh, you know what? You know what's funny is I'm Cynthia Varkevisser, and everybody is so focused on Varkevisser that they usually misspell Cynthia. It's just the craziest thing. So I'm sorry I mispronounced it. But how
No,
can I? Okay.
well, I have questions, for, relationship with my own children. I've reviewed the relationship that I've had with my mother, and I'm just trying to get additional insight on how to get it right because, we all have our own issues as a child, and then when we have our children, sometimes we come up against the same issues that we gave our parents, and I'm trying to find a way to deal with it, like strike a balance.
Yeah, I get it. It's funny. Dee and I were actually talking about something similar today about our moms. Both our moms have passed. Is your mom still here?
No, my mom passed.
Okay, and can you tell me her name?
Her name was Lola.
Lola. I can't help it. I was just going to say she was a showgirl. So, okay. So you're absolutely right. The way that my philosophy as well is that is what you're talking about is my version of karma, which is it's passed on to you, and then through forced habit, you pass it on to your kids, and then you see it, you can't help yourself, and now you're in a place where you want to change your karma, right? You want to break the karma, break the cycle. Okay, so you and your mom, I see that you and your mom had the word that I'm hearing is a tenuous relationship. There was a whole lot of love involved, but there was so much fear that you guys wouldn't get each other, that you guys didn't get each other. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
You said there was so much fear that we didn't get each other, that we what?
You guys, there was a lot of love in your relationship. You're a very loving person. Your mom was also a very loving person. The thing is she wasn't a great communicator. She was so afraid that you wouldn't understand her that you guys didn't understand each other. Do you understand what I'm saying? She was busy trying to communicate that she just didn't feel, right? And so guess what's happening? You're doing the same with your mom and with your kids. And really all your kids are wanting you to do is, sounds weird, they want you to be imperfect. They want you to say that you've made mistakes, and you don't have to admit them. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just say the mistakes that you've made and then move on. And the reason that they want to do that is because they feel like you're always talking at them instead of connecting with them. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yes.
Okay. No, go ahead.
But I think most parents nowadays, especially with younger children, like teenagers and, young adults, I guess because of the generational gap, we are always talking to them, and they think we're talking at them. Because there is a disconnect.
Right. Well, do you have a child in particular that you're concerned about?
Well, my kids are spread out in ages. I have a teenager that I'm concerned about, and I always felt that I want to build a relationship with him where he'll feel comfortable enough to talk to me, to come to me if there's a problem and not hide it, because I'd never want him to be in a situation where I was, where I felt like I had to. Okay. And, just even to talk about the issues and the strains that they're going through.
Okay, so what's his name?
His name is Marlon.
Marlon, and can I get his age really quick and his birth month?
He's 5'8", 1998.
Okay, May 1998. What does that make him? 18? 17? Math is horrible. 17. He's a really good kid. He's pretty much a go-getter, and he is I won't say he's a great listener. He listens to you, but what's really important is that you have to hit the highlights and then let it go. He's not one about the details. So he's the kind of guy that if you tell him something direct and, not get into a whole lot of details, he'll come back around and ask about it. He's the kind of guy that has to take it in, sit with it for a minute, and then come back around. If you give him too much information, he shuts down. If you give him too much, chatter, behind what it is you really want him to know, then he shuts down. So my suggestion to you is that you hit it. You tell him the thing that it is that's really important to you. Make it direct and make it quick, and then let him come back to you, because then that's how you guys are going to connect. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, because he doesn't like a lot of talking, and to be honest with you, I don't like a lot of talking right now either, because I do it every day.
Right. So then that's all you got to do. You just got to make it really quick. Let him come back around. And what that'll do, it's going to do two things. As you start healing this relationship with your son or connecting on this level, it's actually going to help you loosen up a little bit about your memories with your mom. Because right now it's the memories that's really getting you entangled with how you're feeling with your mom and that energy. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So I hope that helps you. Feel free to call back again if you need some clarification, or or we can work it out in another way. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you
so much. All right. Let's try Tom from Northern Maine. Tom, there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you doing, Tom?
Hi, good. I'm looking for a relationship. I come from a very small town where everybody is either hooked up already with somebody, or they're married, or they're very young. And I'm a little older than everybody is looking for. There are no nightclubs or any place to really hang out. There's not even a bowling alley.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, can I, in order to connect with you, can I get your age and your birth month?
Sure, January. And
okay.
I'm 57.
Well, hey, congratulations and happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to have Dee talk with you as well as soon as I want to connect with you. So I can tell you right now, you're in a place where you are figuring out what are the important things for you in order to have a relationship, right? Which is, what do I want in a person? And it sounds like there's nobody in the town that hits that requirement. How am I going to have social life with this person, which this town doesn't fit this requirement? And who am I in this whole process? Which is a question that ties into all the questions that you have. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So I hate to break it to you, but it's time for you don't have to move out of your town, but it's time to really spread your wings. There is more to you in just this relationship and wanting to leave this town. There's a part of you that's been wanting to leave for a while. You don't have to move out, but it's time to really start exploring. And I'm hearing that it would be great if you belong to like a travel club, and that you and that club would meet someplace. And it doesn't have to be too far away, but that you start exploring different areas. Okay? And then through this travel club, you're going to stretch out, and that's how you're going to find your person. And don't be surprised, as you say that everybody's too young in your town, but don't be surprised if the woman that you end up seeing, is a little bit younger than you.
That's okay.
Okay. I've never heard anybody complain about having someone too much younger than you. Hey, Dee, you got anything that you want to add to that?
Well, the only thing I would say is like as you're figuring out where you're going to do that traveling to get to the bigger you, is to remember to be kind, and to be kind to every person that comes in your path. So whether it be a female or a male or a young person or the mailman, is that you are practicing being the kindest, most loving person that you can, sort of as a way to energetically put that kind of energy out into the world. So it may not be that, saying hi to the lady who's handing you your pastry, that she's going to be the person that you connect with. You're practicing so that when that person comes along, they're seeing the true loving you. And it's also just kind of a good way to walk through the world, is to be kind to everyone you meet on a daily basis.
Yes, I understand.
Oh,
you're right.
And just so you know, there is a part of you that hasn't been you have not been intrigued, or you haven't had your interest piqued. You haven't been excited about anything in a really long time. So just know that being kind is great, and that your kindness is going to be very natural, because we're going to be so excited for the things that are coming up. So there's a site called Meetup.com, or you can find other places where you can have these travel groups. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Enjoy yourself. We are now going to talk to Princess in New York. Hello, Princess, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, Princess?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Listen, so what I'm hearing is that you're from New York and that you want to talk about your baby's daddy, right?
Yes.
And you guys are together right now?
Yes.
Okay. And what I'd like to know is, do you feel comfortable telling me his name and his age?
His name is Alan, and he is 42.
What's his birth month?
November.
November. All right. And Prince, how old are you?
31.
31. And what's your birth month?
August.
August. The reason I do, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell people in the beginning, is so that I can connect in with your energy to see where you are. Okay?
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So first I'm going to tell you where you are. Where you are right now is you're really starting to think long term. You're starting to think future. You're starting to think, what's this going to look like for my family? What does family look like? How am I going to have my family, be healthy in the long run? Okay? So these are all the things that you're thinking about, and these are all the things that you're moving towards. Now, your Alan is having a really hard time. Is your daughter right?
Yes, I have 2 kids with him.
Okay. So the youngest one, this one kind of threw this baby. Is your baby like about a year old, or a little bit less than a year old?
Yes, she's less than a year old.
Yeah. So what happened is your pregnancy with this baby somehow threw him for a loop. Something happened where he felt like trapped is not the word, but it's more like he's feeling like he's going to have to buckle down, get responsible, start having to do these things. And he has this really strange idea of what that looks like. For him, that looks like dinner at 5, bed by 9. You know what I'm saying? One of those really weird things. And so he's having a very hard time trying to figure out how he can fit into that kind of lifestyle. Okay? So my question to you is that what you're looking for in partner? Are you looking for someone to be there, for dinner at 5, to be there every night?
No.
Okay. So it's really important for you to tell him that, because he's really feeling like that's what he's going to be stuck with. That's what he's feeling is stuck. So that's why you're getting all that feeling of that he's messing around. Okay. So my question to you is, do you have just a feeling that he's cheating? Do you have something that happened that makes you wonder if he is?
No, I just have a feeling.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want you to know, my idea of cheating is, well, if it has to do with my partner, it's definitely not this definition. But for readings, I want you to know that cheating for me is any kind of physical contact that happens afterwards. So I'd be like anything, after making out. Does that make sense when I say that?
Mhm.
Okay, so I want you to know that he's not cheating, but he sure is he's really towing the line, not towing the line. He's really like checking to see what his what he's going to do, and he's really checking, like, if I did this, what would happen? If I did this, what would happen? If I did this, what would happen? So I don't feel him cheating, but I feel him flirting. I feel him talking. I feel him, more like talking more than anything, but not the actual cheating. So if you really want him to be in your if you really want him to be a part of your family in that way, that that he's your partner, it's important for you to talk about what is it that you are willing to, what is it that you consider a relationship. Like, he doesn't have to be home every night. He doesn't have to be this. You guys don't have to live together. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be traditional the way he's doing. And he'll relax a little bit. He'll still kind of mess around just for a little while longer to see if you're really true to what you're saying, and then it'll switch out. But I would really check to see if he is the person that you want in a relationship, or if there is some other qualities that you want in a relationship. Okay?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, so Dee, do you have anything that you want to answer to, add to that?
Yeah.
No.
I have a question for you. So you called in to ask about the father to your baby. What do you have a specific question around that?
No, I just wanted to know, was he cheating?
Just if he was cheating and stuff like. Okay, so how are you feeling about the relationship?
I felt like he is, and then
you feel like
he never told his mother that he had another baby.
Oof. Just so you know,
okay.
I'm going to go in really quick, Dash, while you're
yep. Yeah, go for it.
Is that that remember I told you, I'm telling you, you being pregnant with that second baby really threw him for a loop about what it is to be a grown up and what it is to be a man, actually, like a man that's a dad that's responsible. So it totally makes sense to me he would do something immature like that. Just so you know. Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, Dash, are you good, or did you want to add to that?
No, just to turn around, and then people are going to probably get tired of this stuff with me. Is that to just sort of walk through the world being kind. So like, I do not know, like, intuitively if this is the person that you want to be with for the rest of your life, but to kind of like, okay, is he cheating? Okay, well, if he is not cheating, let's just say he's not cheating, what is it that's making you uncomfortable? And is that what you want in your life? And to sort of check in with yourself about what you want versus like what's he doing and how that's affecting you. Is he still showing up for dinner at night? Is he still doing the things? You know what I mean? Like the stuff, the day-to-day stuff. Is this the person you want to spend the rest of your life with? And I think that kind of, and to do it kindly, to check in with yourself kindly. Is this the guy for me? That would be the question, instead of like, is he cheating? Maybe he's cheating, maybe he's not, but something makes you uncomfortable, and you got 2 babies by him. So, how do you make that thing work? So, not exactly sure what else to say, but that's what I would be thinking if it was me. Like, if he's not cheating, something makes my gut go, this doesn't feel so great.
And that's the beauty about Dee, is that she does great self check-in, where when I'm doing a reading, I'm all about like, boom, I just pop it at you. So it's all really good stuff. And just so you know, he's pretty close to the line, and so it's a really good time for you to check in with yourself, check out what you want in a relationship, see if he's the guy that actually matches the relationship. You're actually in more control than you think. Just remember that part. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you are absolutely welcome, and I'd love to hear how it all turns out. Okay? You there, Princess? Okay, so I think Princess went ahead and rang off, and so I'm getting ready to take Fantasia, but if you are also interested in getting a question answered, please call 657-383-0608 and press 1. All right, so the next caller is Fantasia, and she's also from New York. Fantasia, are you there?
Yes.
How's it going, Fantasia?
Fine.
Good. Let's see, before I ask you your question, can I get your age and your birth month?
I'm 24, and I was born in November.
Gotcha. And do you want to know whether or not you're going to be with your baby's dad?
Yes.
Okay, and what's his name?
His name is Kelvin.
Okay, Kelvin. And can I have his age and his birth month?
Yes, he's 35, and he's born in February.
Oh, did he just turn 35?
Yes.
Okay, there's a reason why I asked. Okay, so here's what's going on. You're 24, right?
Yes.
Okay, and your baby's less than a year old as well?
Yes.
All right, so here's what's going on with you. You are making a huge shift. You've gone through so much stuff. It's kind of like, I'm not saying that the baby becoming a mom was not it's not the same as what you thought it would be. That being a mom, everybody's like that, right? You're like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and I'm still going to get my 10 hours of sleep, and it just never happens that way, right?
Yes.
You're like, oh crap. So you are going through a whole bunch of stuff, and while you're doing that, your Calvin is walking around, and he's kind of in a, I won't call it shock, but he's walking around a little bit differently too. But while you're in these changes, like, holy crap, help me out, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, he's walking around not so affected, meaning that not as, what is it I want to say? Does he help you?
Not really, no.
That's right. So that's what's happening. So he's walking around going, Dad, and there's all this stuff, and he doesn't really help you, so it's not really affecting him in the same way, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing about him right now. He is at a place where he can either really make a difference in your life, or he can pretty much disappear. And the only thing that you can do about this is you have to tell him very, very plainly, okay, but without any kind of sadness or without any kind of resentment. And that's the hardest part for you right now, right? Is to go, hey, this is what it takes for me to have help with the baby. All right. And then what will happen is that if you say it in a way that does not come across as resentful or really sad, he's going to turn around and he's going to be an amazing parent. If he doesn't, he's going to be one of those people that will go, you know what, this really isn't my problem, and he's going to pretty much ignore you for a little while. Okay? So I don't, that's kind of a 50-50 thing. And just so you know, if he decides that he's going to be a really good dad, he's going to be a really good dad, but that's not, he's still not going to be an amazing partner. You know what I mean?
I kind of figured that, yes.
Yeah. So I think he's the right guy for you. I really don't. And I don't say that very often. He's not a bad guy, but he's one of those guys where, it's kind of like, and so when I say he's going to disappear, he's not going to disappear forever. It's one of those things where he's going to go, well, you know what? You're the mom, you know what you're doing, and then he's going to kind of like put all the responsibility on you. And even though that's only for a little while, I believe you should have better. You deserve better. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Just so you know, it's going to take a little while. I'm not going to say to blow this guy off, okay? But it's really important for you to tell him what needs to be done and what it's going to take, and to do it calmly, okay?
Okay.
Once that happens, what I'd like you to do is get back into kind of going, okay, I'm a mom, but I'm still Fantasia, and here are the things I want to do. You have aspirations, and you kind of have some drive, and I don't want to see that go away. So let that keep brewing. Just because you have a baby doesn't mean it has to go away. And that baby is going to learn so much more if you do that while you have her. Make sense when I say that?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be amazing, and there will be love for you. I'm just not going to say it's with this guy, and I'm definitely not going to say it's today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I now have Sandra in New York, and for love. So, Sandra, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm so excited to have all these New Yorkers calling me. I love New York. So exciting.
That's great. So you need what, my age and my month?
I do, if that's all right with you.
Sure. It's 46, and it's March.
Ah, so you have one coming up, right?
I do next Wednesday, as a matter of fact.
What do you have? Well, here's what I would like to, are you going to celebrate big time?
No, it's going to be nice and quiet.
Okay. So you're looking for love?
I am.
Okay, so here's what I've got for you. You had a really good year where you've made some shifts. It's almost as if you did a little bit of a reinvention. So the year before that, so that's 2014. 2014, you were in a place where nothing was really working for you the same way that it was before. You know what I'm saying? So the way that I responded to people, I'm not getting the same kind of I'm not getting this. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? So things just weren't working the same way. So last year you started doing this really cool reinvention, and it was quiet. It was a quiet reinvention, but people noticed. They just didn't notice like it was a big thing. Like you didn't go from having your hair from your waist, to bald. You know what I'm saying? It was all really subtle and really nice how you do it. Super classy, just so you know. And what I like is that you also kind of shifted your idea of what love is going to be, and now you want to take it for a test drive. Okay? So so here's what I want to tell you. Keep exploring and keep doing this thing where I don't normally say this, but I'll tell you this, and Dee can back it up. I love role playing, right? So if one day I said, I don't even know. So one day I will be somebody, and then I get into it, and I'm super excited, and it makes it fun for both of us, right? Because she's like, oh my gosh, who the heck is this person? I recommend that for you as well. So if you want to be a diva one day, and I'm not joking. I'm saying go out, be a diva. Make certain demands and kind of giggle every time you do it, even though you're saying it with this authority, right? So if you want to be a diva one day, be a diva. If you want to be a sex kitten the next day, be a sex kitten. This is the time to do it. And the reason I'm saying that is because you're already exploring about love. Why not explore your identity in love? Okay? Now, are you feeling comfortable or are you feeling uncomfortable? What's that?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So have a really good time with it. Do it with your friends. Make dares with your friends. If you want to have a name for that day, have a name for that day. Meaning, you can make up your name. My Starbucks name is Wowie, right? It cracks me up every time I do it. And it's just silly. But if you want to have those kind of names, because here's what's happening. As you're exploring yourself in the area of love, what will happen is you will have this newfound confidence on what it is that you have inside of you. Okay? So it's going from exploring to having the experience behind the exploration. Then what will happen is you're going to have that thing, that level of confidence that's going to attract the man to you that you actually really want. Right now, it's not like you're not finding love, but the people around you are not really, really not doing it for you, right? They're kind of, they're kind of soft, if you know what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about that?
No, I know I kind of need to get out there more. It's just kind of been winterish, so... once the spring comes rolling in, and I'm sure I'll be out more doing my thing. But
it's more than that. It's not just about going out, and it's actually going out with a bang.
Right.
So I have let the neighbors wonder what the heck's going on with you. That's the fun part, right? You're like, oh my gosh, you're dressed up as Little Bo Peep. What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh, you're dressed up as a cowgirl. What the heck's going on? And you're just having a good time, and you're exploring that part of yourself. That's what I mean. So it's not about the weather. It's about the attitude that you take with you when you go out. Okay.
Right.
And then as you do this, now if you do your homework. I won't say properly, but if you do your homework with gusto, you will find love before the end of the year. Okay?
Okay.
And it's not about him, it's all about you, because it's confidence level that you're looking for that's going to attract the guy that you really want.
Well, that makes good sense because, when you're confident and feeling happy, I think you're attracting, the best kind of people into your life.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's how you get your confidence that's the fun part. So.
Yeah. I like that idea.
You got anything else you want to add, Dash?
Well, you know what? When she was talking about doing the role plays and stuff like that, I think sometimes like it can become overwhelming. Like I can't imagine if I decided that I wanted to go out and be a cowboy, putting on an entire cowboy outfit. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll put on a pair of shoes that to me look cowboyish. Somebody else might look at them and they go, they're just some sort of more pointy-toed shoe. But when I walk in them, I feel kind of cowboyish. And so when you're thinking about it, like when you go to work, you know, or you're out in the world and you're shopping about, just finding that one thing that says, okay, you know what, this seems like something a diva would wear. It's subtle enough that when I put it on, nobody's going to go, oh, my God, she's diva for the day. But it sort of sets the tone so that when you go into Starbucks, you go, my name is, I don't even know what the diva name would be, but you could pick it and you would actually know, like, that's your secret. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm a diva today, or I'm a this today, or I'm a that today, to sort of start moving in that direction. So maybe not Little Bo Peep the first time out, but maybe just maybe some little tiny undergarment that only you know about. So that's what I would say about that.
That makes sense.
Don't go buy all the petticoats, but that's what it is. And also it's really fun. Do you go out with your friends a lot?
No, actually I've moved to a new area, so I'm kind of, I have like one close friend here, but some of my friends kind of moved away, and it's been a little quieter this year, I have to say.
Well, that's not a bad thing for you because you got everything shifting up around you anyway. But it's actually kind of fun. Dee and I will do this. Is that we will have silly bets. All right, and I'm talking about bets that don't hurt anybody, but it's a thing that gets us looking forward to what we're going to do that night, or it gives us like an inside joke in a funny way, right? In a really harmless way. I suggest that you do that as well. So if you're going to go out with your friend, go, hey, let's see who can whatever, right? And then just let that set the tone for your night. And it ends up being a lot of fun because it takes the pressure off of being Little Bo Peep, but it brings out that part of you while you're doing that other thing. Okay, so it doesn't have to be such a chore, and it doesn't have to be, just like Dee says, it doesn't have to be so out there. Okay,
right?
But it is a lot of fun. We, I don't know if you were listening earlier in the conversation, but we both like to gamble, so we do a lot of silly bets. So, if you knew us, you know that the loser sometimes has to wear a dunce cap and take a picture and stick it on Facebook. That kind of thing.
Well, that's
all right.
Great suggestion. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Enjoy, and hopefully one day I'll come out to New York and do some readings out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
I actually have something kind of set up. It's brewing in New York. I think it's Long Island, and I will definitely let everybody know. So hopefully you're that way.
Yes. Perfect.
I love it. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for calling.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Yeah,
enjoy.
You too.
Happy shopping.
Okay.
All right. So, Dashi, we have 10 minutes to kind of chat and go over what we talked about. What did I want to tell you? That was a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Exactly. I met somebody named Princess. I met somebody named Fantasia.
Uh-huh.
Can't get any better than that. I now know Princess.
No. But you know what I liked is that we had some serious stuff and then we got to lighten it up, and it's all about relationships, which is kind of like how we walk it anyway, right?
Right.
So you know what? I can't think of any other, some of our crazy to share. Do you have any that you can think about that we did, or are they all inappropriate?
Well, the big one is that we do. It's a game that we play with ourselves. That started out with ourselves, but that we've extended it to our friends, which is called I and I.
Right.
And it's called I and I because it's illegal or inappropriate, and illegal is really on the lighter side of illegal. So could be something as it started out as a game where I turn around and say, hey, you want to play a game? It's called illegal or inappropriate, and you have to do one or the other. And really what you're trying to do is beat the other person so that if you had to ask a judge or a jury, they would pick me. So, for instance, okay, so I'm going to go do something illegal. And then we both have to decide how far the other person is going to go with that illegal. Is it that they're going to jaywalk?
Right.
And I'm not willing to jaywalk? Or are they going to go into the restaurant and steal a roll of toilet paper? Now,
that was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
And the toilet paper might be better. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
So that's some of the stuff we do. We also have done, gambling on the groceries. Whoever gets closer to the receipt, the other person has to pay. Is that person going to cross to the left, or are they going to go to the right? That'll be $5. Whenever we go to hotels, we bet on which elevator is going to come up.
Yeah, and actually I don't know if you remember, we also had a bet while we were walking through a casino who would do a forward roll on the casino to see if anybody would see us. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm not sure a lot of people would do that one, but yes, we did do that one. Exactly.
I'm trying to remember some other ones. But yeah, and it's I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. I remember we were at a baseball game and it was getting a little boring, so we had side bets on that as well, right? So
and how many times the second baseman or third baseman would touch himself in a particular kind of way.
Hey, so I want you to know that we have another caller. It's Jane all the way from Toronto. Jane, are you on the line?
Right. Yes, I am. Thank you.
How's it going, Jane?
It's good. It's Friday afternoon.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And I love that you're in Toronto when we're in Louisiana.
You don't sound like you're in Louisiana.
Actually, to be really honest with you, I'm in the bathroom right now because it's quiet. But you didn't need to know that. That's a little bit too much information.
No, I can't for your accent, actually.
We're in the middle of our vacation. So how can I help you today? How can we help you today?
Well, I just would like to know what's coming up for me in the future.
Okay. So can I have your age and your birth month?
I'm born in July, and I'm 58, and that's all you asked for, right?
Yeah, that's all I need to know. The rest is prying, and I am nosy, but I don't need to I don't need to be that nosy. I really, really like you, Jane. You're a super sweet person. You give a lot, and you give unconditionally, but you worry about how much you give and whether or not you can give more, right? And,
sometimes.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're at a place right now where you're. I call this you're in your legacy cycle, and a legacy cycle is when you're thinking about how are you going to be able to leave your mark in this world this year, right? So here's the thing, and I completely identify with you because I believe I'm this person as well, is that if you can give, right, and not worry about how much you're giving, just give and let it go, what will happen is that it will free up. I believe that everything is energy, and that every time you give, but you give with worry, or I'll call it a condition because you worry that you're not giving enough or you're not giving right. If you can just give, it's the best I got, I did a great job, what will happen is that it frees up a whole lot of energy for you to focus on you. Okay. Now, once that happens, and once you can start focusing on you, what will happen is that people will start noticing you. Right now, they see you, but they see you as a helper, and they don't see you, and they see you as someone special. They don't see you as someone who's available and special and amazing. Okay? They see you as, kind of a, don't take this the wrong way, but kind of a Mother Teresa. You're always about the project, or you're always about the other person, and so the people look and they don't feel like there's any space for you to be with somebody, unless of course they need help.
Okay, well I don't want those ones anymore.
No, right? You're an expert at that already. So heck, right? you already have that. So so this is a great year, and this Dash will totally chime in on this, I know. But this is the year to actually be selfish, right? Yeah. And selfish doesn't mean self-centered and that everything revolves around you, but selfish is that you get to take care of you. Think of yourself first.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yes, well, that also means you have to say no to people sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to say it without any kind of regrets.
Yeah, that's the challenging part.
It's not impossible. I swear, it's not impossible. So start with little stuff, okay? So, and the reason I know Dash will chime in is because this is stuff that she tells me a lot, because I'm a lot like you that way, where I give and then I worry. Did I give enough? Did I give too much? And then by that time, I'm tired because I haven't done anything. I've just thought about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one of the ways that you can sort of start to practice to say no, even though you may not say no at the first time, is to don't pick up the phone right away. So let it go to voicemail, and then make the decision on whether you're going to say yes or no. You may still say yes, but you'll have given yourself enough space to be able to say no. And then with a little bit more time of not picking up the phone, you'll figure out where you're like, oh man, I should have said no to that. I had the opportunity to say no, and I still picked up and said yes. So you start to get in touch with, what part of all the extra work you want to kind of let go of.
Yeah, I actually said no to a big project earlier this week.
That's great.
Yeah. It was like a good paying gig, but it just didn't feel right, so I said no.
That's great. So now that you know that you can do that with money and that you can do it with companies, the next place is to take it one step closer to your heart and start talking about that with people. Okay? Do you know what I mean by the next circle?
I think so. You mean when I don't want to do something, I say no to somebody.
Exactly, and it would be someone who's near to you. So for me, the hardest thing for me has been to not pick up the phone every time my kids call, even if I'm in the middle of something really important. I could be in a meeting and I would pick up. And just my kids are 24, so they're not getting in trouble with the principal. They're not super hard. You know what I'm saying?
I know. And then when you don't answer, they call 10 times in a row.
Yeah, exactly. And they're texting you. Then it's something, right? And breakups, I believe, are super high up on the list. But other stuff like where did you get your toothpaste?
How do I cook this?
Pardon?
How do I cook this or whatever?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I still have that. It's like, do you set the oven to 375? And it makes me laugh and it makes me feel needed, but it's not something that has to happen right away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's your next place. The other thing that I would recommend is that you set a certain amount of time aside just for you. I cheat. And the way I cheat is I like to wake up extra early because then I know that I won't have anybody up so that I can go talk to them. Because Dee she told us earlier in the show that I'm a freaking Kathy, right? I have lots of stuff to talk about,
Right.
So the one time that I'm super quiet, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm super quiet, and that's my time. So it's a little bit of a cheat because I still don't trust myself, but think about a time that you can go ahead and do that too, right?
I actually do that every morning. I do the same thing in the morning because I just have my coffee and it's very quiet. And
nice.
And it feeds my soul.
Excellent. So now add 15 minutes to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the trick is not to wake up 15 minutes earlier, but to add 15 minutes to that.
Yeah. No, I already spend quite a bit of time in that place.
Good.
Yeah.
So, Dee, do you have any additional thoughts to that?
Nope, just keep practicing saying no to the things that are getting in the way of your doing what you want to do. Whether it's money, people, saying no to yourself instead of watching that extra thing of TV when you could be doing something that's going to fulfill you.
Yeah. And just remember, even though we're hard on the no and spending more time spending more time for you to be on your by yourself, it really is about being able to, that we're saying it is so that you can make these decisions without worry. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, but it's all about the more you do it, the less you worry about it, and then the more you're going to be focusing on yourself. And then that's actually the true selfishness, right? Is that you get to focus on yourself, and how you want to focus is up to you.
Okay, and then I should be meeting some beautiful knights on shining armor.
Okay, so yeah, let me go to the psychic part, and I'll be honest with you, okay? So the honest part is that you're also not a dater, and it's time to date. So you got to date, you got to date, you got to date. You got to have a really good time while you're dating, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I promise you, because it's about meeting new friends. You don't have to worry about the next person being, the right one. It's just about meeting the next one. What will happen is that as you start dating, you're not going to look at the criteria. You're just going to meet people and really enjoy the company and work that way. And then once you do that, after some dating, then you're going to find that person that's incredibly wonderful. But it's going to take a little bit of dating. And when I mean a little bit, I'm talking about a couple of months of serious dating, and you can't cheat that, right? So if I say a couple months, right? So it's not 4 coffees with the same person.
No.
Okay.
And you know what? I've been around the block a couple times.
Awesome. Those are the most interesting people, right? The people who've gone around the block a few times.
And I'm picky. So I like just having fun or conversations with people, whatever. But yeah, I don't have to have a relationship. I'm not in that.
Right. Okay, great. So that's what it is. So and I'm really mean. So date, and you are and you're really not that far away. So if you keep practice, you're practicing. That's great. But if you really set them up as dates and have them as dates and date, I see you having someone not by the end of the year. Although you will have met that person by the end of the year, it's not going to happen until the beginning of next year. So take your time, have a lot of fun. Doesn't mean you can't have sex. It just means that they may not be the one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Have fun. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Dash, guess what?
Are we done?
We are just about done. We have to wrap it up. We are getting super close. You got any final thoughts from Crazy D. Hampton?
No, I don't have any final thoughts from Crazy D. Hampton. I feel like I could have been crazier, and all I want to end up with is my one and only filthy joke. But I won't. I will save it for another time. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's not very intuitive, my filthy joke.
Well, you know what? That means that we're going to have you back. That's the cool part, right? That's really what that means. Hey, Dash, thank you.
Or not.
No. It would be so much fun to have you. I want to thank you, Dashi, for coming on the show. I know that took a lot of guts. You're super brave, and it was a lot of fun. And you shared, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you. I want to thank Tana. I want to thank for being the amazing producer that she is, and thank you to Angel Heart for you. I hope everyone has a really good weekend. I know we are. Dee and I are going to be doing something that's supposed to be the half marathon, but definitely we'll be at the finish line. We just don't know how we're going to get there. Again, have a really, really good weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as the Modern Day Mystic. So, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to another empowering show. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday and Friday to hear our live shows. Learn more about our live shows at www.angelheartforyouRadio.com and keep tuning in to the Angel Heart for You radio channel.